I'm going to talk about this from a CIMSANS perspective. So, CIMSANS, the Centre for Integrated Modelling of Sustainable Agriculture and Nutrition Security. It's part of the ILSI Life Sciences Institute Research Foundation. It's an initiative of that. And what ILSI is good at is collaborating and building tripartite relationships between industry, academia and government. Now that's not advocacy, it's science-based, and it's about looking at emerging challenges and actually helping inform policy. And particularly the CIMSANS aspects are open source ag data, improved modelling approaches. And something you'll hear about in this meeting a little bit, and more so in the next workshop, is a particular focus of CIMSANS is sustainable nutrition security, which is about understanding the landscape of sustainable nutrition and devising metrics. But for what we're talking about today, the key thing is it requires unique combinations of data. And private industry may be the only source of some of the key data to support nutrition security. Maybe for general climate modelling, you don't need private industry, but private industry has stuff at a global scale that nobody else does. So the ILSI building tripartite relationships is key. So CIMSANS is interested in unique combinations of data to support nutrition security, translating data from private organizations and reprocessing it into formats for use for all. And so we want a model-friendly, multi-scale global data portal to help us do that. And that's why we collaborated, as Dave said, with GeoShare. So the pilot project we came up with, the purpose was to generate the necessary infrastructure and critically the levels of user participation and interest, and I'm seeing 60 plus people in here, so I'm feeling good about that one, for collecting and curating public and private data while ensuring the data quality and enhancing interoperability. Now it's a very long, complex sentence, but all those words are key. How can we make the data available so users are confident on the quality and it's easy to move from one process to another? What you'll see is examples, and we focused on some examples for GeoShare. There's the spam work you'll hear about, which collaboration strongly with IFPRI, looking particularly Ghana and India, and we wanted to learn about scaling these approaches, and we wanted to learn about differences where the data density is high and the data density is low, where there may be more or less available information. We wanted to understand more about what this Hub Zero thing does. How does it help for CIMSANS related modelling frameworks? The next objective was to understand, is GeoShare a good curation mechanism for adding lasting value at global scales of data? And can GeoShare basically provide a framework for giving unified access to baseline and, more importantly, what you could call added value data, which has been improved, aggregated, combined, to support the economic and physical models that particularly will underlie the sustainable nutrition effort. And this has to be something that offers uniqueness. It's not meant to replace stuff that's out there. It's meant to be complementary to the things that are doing well and maybe improve the things that need to be improved. So the lessons you're going to see, I think, and you're going to make your own minds up because that's why you're invited here. As Tom said, stamp collecting data sets doesn't work. A book of nice data sets isn't the thing to do. Nobody's got the incentive to maintain them. The people who own the data and who are still developing it are the best people to store data. Workflows, you are going to get tired of this. You're already sort of beginning to wonder about it. Workflows are going to be key. And it's not just any workflows, it's new and better workflows. Maybe it's got automated metadata, easier ways of replicating what you did last year, or somebody else replicating it and getting the data set out directly. Maybe it's data that's in an easier to use format. You don't have to waste a day getting it into your GIS. It's immediately accessible. Maybe you can visualize it better. Most importantly, this happens cross-discipline. You guys can work with your data very easily, but a less experienced user in another organization can't. So if GeoShare can help make your data accessible to somebody else, we're doing something good. Hub Zero, I think you'll see, offers tools that can make workflows more readily accessible. You'll see some good examples. I think one of the learnings, and this is particularly come from spatial production allocation examples, is that some of the data out there that we need to be best available is difficult to get hold of, difficult to replicate. And what we learned, I think, and this was very interesting, was that just saying we're going to create a workflow or a new tool isn't quite enough. You've got to think, what do we need for tomorrow and for 5 years' time? Replicating what was built 3 years ago doesn't necessarily move you forward. So you need a conceptual model saying, what do I want to take us to? As you're thinking for a new workflow, do we need to redesign what's out there to meet anticipated needs? And that's where the communities of practice seem to be critical, and that's what I hope we're trying to draw together in this room. They should be coming in at the design stage of some of these new workflows and tools. It's not taking away anyone's academic responsibility and individuality, but let's make sure the efforts fit into a unified pattern that helps everybody. And that's, I think, what GeoShare can offer, particularly through endorsement. The fit for purpose aspect is going to come up tomorrow a lot. And more importantly, endorsed data in terms of its endorsement for quality and the purposes for which it's fit. And I think that's what we've learnt, and I hope you guys can consider that learning as you listen to the presentations. So where's GeoShare and GeoShare-CIMSANS going? You heard from Tom, you know, this is important, really important to the future. Stakeholder input. So you're going to see a lot of examples. You're going to have a chance to quiz the speakers. You should have a good idea about how Hub Zero works, how GeoShare works, and the directions people see. And the questions in the breakouts are targeted to explore, what do you think of Hub Zero GeoShare? What's good, what's bad, what maybe can be improved? What are the next steps needed for data fusion? The aggregation of data at different scales, how can that be achieved through communities of practice focusing on the goals for 5 years out? How do we manage to get cross-sector unification of data and endorsement to support the models that are active now, the models that we hope to improve? We're going to be talking about in the second workshop. And it's this concept of credibility by consensus amongst the experts, the global experts, because it's cross-discipline. Nobody can do it alone. And of course, we want input on what do we need to make the key global data sets available. So that's what CIMSANS has pulled out of this so far, and that's why we're excited to be here, and we're very grateful for everyone to have taken their time to be here. And we're also very grateful to, we didn't mention them by name, but Marie and Rose, who've done a lot of the very, very nitty-gritty critical work to get food, seating, computers and everything here today. So thank you them, and thank you for coming.